just watched an atheist lecture on death, and I guess the one, sorry, I have a lot of coffee in me, so feeling kind of iffy in my stomach there, but I was kind of looking at, sort of the differences between, say, preaching and lecturing. I know both of them have positive and negative connotations, so you could go either way depending on your mood or what you're listening to, etc., whether you're bored or not. But I would say that listening to an atheist lecture brings some sort of, personally, brings some sort of dynamism that you don't get from TV. TV is all about the 5-second scene, and then something else happens, and you end up with this, without even noticing it, this very sort of chopped up sort of meal that gets fed to you. I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I'm saying I grew up on TV too, so I kind of get the the hits, the quick hits of different scenes. It's almost drug-like without even realizing it. Now, in terms of the lecture I just listened to, it was on death, and I guess if you were to say, it was atheist by the way, but I guess if you were to say it was preaching on some level, it would be preaching in the sense that, well, it was a large hall, there was a very booming, echoing voice ringing through, on the subject of death. There's also the idea that certain words are going to come up, like religion, like, death itself, hell, heaven, So I guess I guess if you were to pick apart the bits of the lecture, you would end up, and you kind of threw it into one hat, and then you picked apart the bits of a sermon or a lecture, a sermon basically, and you put it in another hat, and you jumbled up the words, you'd find pretty much the same thing, kind of. But I guess the ideas behind the atheist lecture are obviously counter-religious, and with religion, I'm not sure that it's always counter-atheist, but in by intent, but also just by the nature of it. Like, it will talk about heaven and hell and punishment, etc., etc. So also brings up another point too about atheism being inherently anti-religious, which it's not if you boil the word down, etc., etc. But that brings me to my next point. I think if you listen to an atheist lecture, the ideas there come with a caveat, and I think any seasoned atheist or any thinking atheist, because it is pretty easy nowadays to be an atheist and not really think about being an atheist. Like I said, a lot of my friends are atheists. They just never identify as atheists, but they are. They don't believe in God. So the ideas of an atheist lecture come with a caveat, and it's basically, and I wouldn't even call it a warning, it's just basically the way it is you can believe this, you can watch this or not. You don't have to watch it, you don't have to believe it, you don't have to think anything of it. In fact, you could shut down your YouTube thing right now. Whereas, when it comes to, there's an element of choice there that I think that's lacking in a religious sermon, it's a ritual, it's expected, it's a rule, it's what you have to listen to and sort of accept as the truth. So I think those types of things, there's a lack of criticism that comes with a religious sermon. So I think those types of minute details change the way someone would watch an atheist lecture or experience a religious sermon. So, that being said, it wasn't too much of a deep video today, if you think any of mine are anyway. But, yeah, that's essentially what I wanted to talk about. But, the lecture on death was pretty good, and it was Sam Harris. Sometimes when he veers off into the meditation stuff, I kind of lose myself a little bit because I've never really practiced meditation, don't really like it that much, but it's, who knows, maybe it's something I should explore. But yeah, that's it. Bye.